Alright, what's up everyone? This is my first time doing one of these, but this is an Alviso from a few weeks back in March of 2021. It's my first group ride in a long while. It was my first time getting out there since getting both my vaccine doses. So it was exciting to see a lot of people who I had gone months without seeing during the pandemic. And it's a pretty good hard Alviso, as you'll see. So we get into it, and the defining feature of today's race was the wind. It was super windy out there. I think there was a red flag warning, and down this start finish straight it was a left to right wind, so we were getting blown from our left shoulder into this gutter on the right, which will feature prominently, as you'll see. So the main team that I'm worried about out here is Thirsty Bear, and they're in the dark blue kits. And then there's of course Jeff from NorCal Cycling Videos, and he's up there in the kind of orange kit. So I'm gonna be marking them and looking for them to kind of make the race, and hopefully I can figure out a way to be a part of that. So I'm in here trying to get warmed up, and the attacks already start flying. So that was a Thirsty Bear guy going off the front, and Jeff is responding to that, so therefore I'm going to try to respond to it. And it would have been nice to get a little bit more of a warm-up, but this one stung a little bit actually. And as you can see, I have this gap that I just for some reason am not closing. It's I guess it's just being rusty with my pack riding skills, but that made me do kind of two efforts, whereas if I was in full crit racing mode, I definitely would have buttoned that up a lot sooner and then wouldn't have had to do that second effort. But I'm in here, I'm just trying to catch a draft, see where this goes. If they can pull me away, then I'm happy with that. And then we have this point in the race, which I wanted to highlight. So this is, I really strongly thought about attacking here, but the problem was it's into a headwind. So I was worried that was going to take some of the sting out of my attack, so I thought better of it. And you're going to see this this Folsom Bike guy, he goes for it. But I don't think it's the best attack because he kind of waited too long and lost all of his momentum. It would have been much better to go right when I freeze framed. And then Jeff is looking behind me like he's Vanderpool, and we're coming into the Tour of Flanders finish, because he knows I'm right behind him, and he knows that I'm an attacking rider, and I'm gonna try to jump onto one of these. But I didn't like it because of that that headwind. I mean, headwind attacks can work, and I've made them work in the past, but usually you have to do kind of a bigger snap. And with someone like Jeff, who's got a great sprint, if he's able to snap onto my wheel quickly, then I'm going to be plowing through the headwind for him. So I usually try not to attack in headwinds unless it's a really good situation. And so now we're making this right turn onto the kind of cross. It's like a cross tailwind. So I would much rather attack into something like that. And I come around here, and you're gonna see the peloton start ballooning up, and I just jump on it right there to try to get some separation. So balloons up, and bam. And I spike up. I think this was a little bit of exuberance and not being out there for a long time, but I probably spiked my watts way too much for that attack. You really, for something like this, like the peloton was slowing down, and we were coming into the crosswind where I had a good draft. I didn't have to do more than 1,000 watts there. And I come up on this guy who's dangling off the front, and I think I give him like a little whistle to let him know I'm coming. But unfortunately we go around for a lap, and I'm working hard, but they reel us in. And as you can see, the Thirsty Bear guys are swarming the front. So there's 1, 2, 3 Thirsty Bears, and then Jeff. So this is these are the guys who I think are going to be making the race. And an interesting situation happens here where one of the Thirsty Bear guys goes. I think that's Jerome. So he goes, and then his teammate actually closes this gap down. And he totally didn't have to do that. I would have, 10 times out of 10, I would have closed that gap. And I know it's something, it seems small, but you might as well make your opponents work harder than just sitting on your draft. Then, unfortunately for the Thirsty Bear guys, these attacks start flying, and they miss it, probably because they were all just surging on the front. And now I can lean on them to close it down. And this is a dangerous situation where Jeff just attacked, as you saw with the San Jose Bike Club guy. And again, the Thirsty Bear team, I think they can be a little more patient and make me close that gap. One Thirsty Bear guy went across, and then Jerome kind of closed it up. And again, I totally would have closed that gap because I have to. I mean, he has a teammate, and I don't. And I know that Jeff is probably the favorite for this race, so I need to close that gap. And now we're coming around, and people have had a little bit of time to relax, so I know that there's probably some fireworks coming in the next few laps. And so we come onto this crosswind section, and I can tell that Jeff definitely wants to make a move. So I try to get as close as I can to his wheel, and I have Jerome in between me, and he goes straight into the gutter. And this is super painful. When you're in a crosswind like this, we're basically having to match the watts that he's putting out. So there's no place to hide. I'm trying to duck over here and get a little bit of draft, and I'm kind of waffling because it's a little sketchy with the trees on the right there. But this is painful, and I'm stealing glances behind me, and the field is really having a tough time with this because this is a big effort. So Jerome and Jeff are the two riders in front of me, and they were the main people that I was marking and thought would be making this race, and here they are. So Jerome rolls through because I think he knows that we have separation and the field is in a bit of difficulty, and then I do the same because I want to make this selection, and I know it's tough to sprint against these two guys, but I had a little plan beforehand that I wanted to try. So I take my pole, and some of the guys are coming back on. As you can see, here's Dennis and Timmy. So they latch back on, and this is the selection of the race right here. So I'm happy to sit in and let my heart rate go down a little bit, but my plan is to make a selection from the selection. So we come back around to this crosswind section, and my heart rate has gone down about 10 beats per minute, and I decide it's my turn to hurt everyone and be the puncher. It's always better to be the puncher than the punchy, so I step on it here and go straight into the gutter just like Jeff did. And yeah, it's painful for me. You can see my heart rate is climbing up, but I am just taking solace in the fact that I know the guys behind me are having to match my watts or come close to them. So it's a pretty good effort. 183, 184 beats per minute that's up there for me. 185 even, wow. So I pull off, and then Jeff comes right under me because he knows this is good. This is gonna be the selection for the race, the selection from the selection. So I hop into his draft, and because I don't even want to wait for somebody to try to get me to close a gap or anything. I hop right in there and start pulling. And if I had a rear camera, you would see that we made a selection. There's Jeff in front of me, obviously, me, and then Jerome, one of the Thirsty Bear riders. And we all kind of roll through, and we're probably about 7 minutes from the finish of this race. So this is, if we can pull a gap out, this is probably going to be the winning move. I think I just said there's 3 laps to go. So I take my pull, even though this is painful, and this is kind of an important thing. If you're trying to make the breakaway, you really have to go deep. You do have to take that pull when you really don't want to, because that's really what's going to snap the elastic. So it's a hard effort. And I'm coming in, this is the headwind section, so I really want to try to position myself to not be pulling on this. And luckily Jeff comes through, and Jerome is back there. He's smartly skipping pulls, the wily racer that he is, and making me and Jeff do the work to solidify this separation. But I'm happy to do it because, like I said, these 2 guys are really good sprinters. They definitely can beat me in a heads-up sprint. But my idea was to get these 2 isolated and then attack with about half a lap to go and hope that they look at each other. Because that is, sprinters they know that a last lap attack and closing down a gap with 30 or 45 seconds left in the race is the best way to zap their sprint. So we all roll through, and yeah, I'm trying to steal some rest for that last lap attack that I have planned. And we're working together really well now that Jerome is. I try to play a game with Jerome here and see if he's gonna take an extra pull for me, but he says no. So I close that down. Then unfortunately, luck was not on my side, and all that guttering, maybe the glass that's out there, I got a flat.
Oh, I got a flat, guys. I have a flat. Have fun.
So yeah, that was a bummer. We were coming in with 2 laps to go, so I was pretty excited for that final, and I know there was going to be some good cat and mouse, but that's the way it is. Riding in the gutter is risky. But it was super fun, and it was a great workout. And those 2 duked it out, and as you can see, Jeff snagged the win. So congrats.